And we were actually just talking about this over in the Motown Noah Discord. Link will be in the description for that one. Of all of these starved voices in my comments, right, the fan bases who clamor the most for me to make a video about them, it's probably Nuggets fans and it's Pelicans fans. And I don't know, I think they might be onto something, because if you really look at it, right, you delve into the stats and the numbers, do some independent research. Well, don't do independent research, but do some research on your own, if you know what I mean. It's like Pistons video, Bucks, Kings, and then whatever team I feel like it, and then repeat cycle. Just do it again. Maybe people are onto something here. But we're going to talk about Milwaukee today, so that'll have to wait. James Christian Middleton is back in the lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the happiest day of my life. The Kings game that he played last night, he was fine. I mean, they're still getting him back into game shape, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, Khris Middleton is so good, 50, 40, 90, walking 50, 40, 90. Wasn't it, how did that go in the bubble? Wasn't he like, I swear he was like a 10th of a percentage away from being a 50, 40, 90 guy going into the bubble. And then didn't he just like tank it and it fell off a cliff or something? Has he ever got, I can't swear right here. I forgot I have to censor myself. Has he gotten a 50, 40, 90? Absolutely fantastic to have him back in the lineup. I tell you what though, I had this weird Mandela effect thing happen to me the other day. I was having like an inner monologue, right? And I was thinking to myself, is Milwaukee these last few years, right, in the modern, since they've been winning 50 games, are they the healthiest good team of all time? Like the most consistent 50-win healthy team ever? Because I was like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know if they've ever had a playoff series where we looked at it and we're like, if this injury didn't happen, they probably win the series. And first of all, I don't even know if you would want to count the Miami series. I think that that might have been a wash regardless. But then you're just like, brother, it happened like 8 months ago in the Bulls series. I should say the injury happened in the Bulls series, and then they lost the Celtics series because they didn't have Khris Middleton. It was an MCL sprain, yeah. And this, I hate that this is how I'm about to start the video, because I'm not trying to make excuses for Milwaukee, or I'm not trying to minimize how good Boston was last year, because super happy for the Jays that they got to have that finals experience, and I think that they'll probably do it again. I don't know about this year, but we'll see, right? But here's the thing. I just feel like if it goes 7 games, are you telling me Khris Middleton being in one of those games probably doesn't affect the outcome, sway the outcome in at least one of them, right? Like it probably does. But again, it literally doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there. Another really big part of this, as expected, I mean, who would have had it literally any other way? Jrue Holiday, the Jrue Holiday piece of this Milwaukee Bucks thing, man, Jesus Christ. My favorite thing in the world is these little dribble handoffs that he takes from Giannis. And then he will do that like hunched over dribble, kind of doing like these, kind of got like his, into the dunker spot. And then he'll do those little like Wile E. Coyote 360s, and he'll draw an and one like 75% of the time. But it's really only good for like 2 or 3 a game. And 3 is kind of pushing it. He's done that before, surely, right? But on aggregate, it's probably 2 or 3 times a game. It's the most bullshit move ever. That's Jrue Holiday, man. Jrue Holiday is just bullshit with legs. And I mean that was a stupid sentence, but I mean it in the most endearing way, because everything he does is annoying. And while Giannis is doing his little fucking, when he's just 35, 13, 9, and 7 blocks, Jrue Holiday is going to hold your team's point guard to 16 on like 25 shots. Tim Cato from The Athletic wrote a really interesting story the other day where he was talking about how the Mavericks are figuring out how to win games when Luka can't be Superman, right? Like when Luka can't do Luka shit every single night, right? Like, sorry, he's not going to be able to do it. Can the guys around him figure out a way to win? And the piece was outlining how they've been able to do that. And that was something that luckily Milwaukee was able to identify. And they got it once they, when they were in the Eric Bledsoe and George Hill, like those were their fucking point guards in the playoffs. That's insane. John Horst was having absolutely none of it and went and got Jrue Holiday. He also got Bogdanovich, but then Woj was like, actually, I run the league and I'm going to make it so that this can't happen because I suck. This is a real thing. Look it up. For as awesome as Grayson Allen has been there are so many times where you will look at him and you're like, sometimes you're still just that guy. Sometimes you're still just Grayson Allen. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, NBA Grayson Allen, where going on JJ Redick's podcast and making me go, damn it, he's kind of a nice guy. He's kind of a cool guy. Isn't that the worst in the world? When you don't know someone at all, you know nothing about them. You just like know of them and like some very general stuff. And for whatever reason, you just fucking hate them. Something about their vibes, man, it's just off. The worst thing in the world is when you find out that they're an awesome person. I hate that shit so much, and that is exactly what happened to me with Grayson Allen. But then sometimes, man, because what was it that happened with was it the Alex Caruso thing? Is that what it was? I don't even remember what it was. Surely I'll look it up while I'm editing this. But sometimes, man, you're just kind of like, Grayson, but damn if he's not shooting the shit out of the basketball this year, because he is. And it's not even just him. Brook Lopez is having like a career year, and by a career year I mean like a twilight. In the twilight years of his career, he is having a career year. You know what I mean? Because in the you think back to the Brooklyn series a couple years ago, the year that they won the finals, and we're looking at him like, so you can't really shoot threes, and you can't defend in the drop anymore. So, like, what are we doing? And then you fast forward to today, right? And this was also coming off of a year or two prior to that, when he had hit more threes in a single season than any 7-footer literally ever, and then his three ball just, like, died. But now he's making literally half of his shots at 40% from three, averaging more points than he has since the 16-17 season. Brook Lopez, hell yeah, dude. Nice. I mentioned Dallas earlier. And if I had to make a pick right now, I think it might be Milwaukee and Dallas in the finals. But the Christian Wood part of that matters, man. And I typically, and I know this is a Bucks video, we'll get back to it, but I know I always say that if there's nothing that I can say about a player that you probably haven't heard 1,000 times, then I'm not going to say it, because that's not insightful and that's not valuable to your attention. But also at the same time, it's weird because he's been with a lot of teams, right? So many people are able to have an opinion on him because they experienced him on their team. Now, some of those teams, it was a lot less time than others, like Charlotte and Philly. Like, does that really count? I don't know. Milwaukee, does that really count? Hey, Milwaukee. Hey, see, we're talking about the Bucks. Remember Christian Wood? But, Pistons fans, Pelicans fans. Here you go, Pelicans fans. I think Pistons and Rockets fans with Christian Wood probably have the most like definitive. Well, and Mavs fans are starting to figure it out, but Pistons fans and Rockets fans probably have the most like concrete idea of Christian Wood. And I know it ended kind of weird in Houston with some of the fans. I guess I don't really know what some of you think and what some of you don't. With Pistons fans, I think for the most part, we're just kind of like whatever about it now. But at some point, someone's probably got to tell Christian Wood that although the contract that they are paying him is for him alone, the sport that they are paying him to play is a team sport. Maybe that, but I digress. And despite the thing at the beginning of the video that I said about the Bucks and being the healthiest good team of all time, which by the way, still might be, they might have a case for it, but probably not, right? Even though that's not true, I think there is the part of you that's like, I hate when, when we're talking about who's going to win a championship, it's not always about like who's got the best 8 to 10 guys, who's got the best 8 or 9 guys. Right? It's not even about who's got the best bench. Sometimes it's just about who's the healthiest. That's part of the reason the Bucks won a couple years ago. That's part of the reason why those were the two teams that were in the finals. That's part of the reason why people hated that final so much. That's part of the reason why people refused to credit Milwaukee for that championship, because so many people got hurt along the way, right? Wasn't that the same year that the Trae Young ref injury happened? Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that was the same year. It's also the year that James Harden, literally 15 seconds into game 1, smokes his hamstring. It's also the same year that everything about that series was weird, though. Who can stay the healthiest? Who can get the luckiest, right? Who can capitalize on the most opportune shit? And I hate, though, and I said this at the beginning of the video with the Celtics thing, and it's not even fair for me to be like, if Khris Middleton was playing in that series, they would have won, because I hate when people do that. Like, a good example would be if Draymond wasn't suspended for a game in 2016, or if Andrew Bogut wasn't hurt for a game in 2016, the Warriors would have won the finals and the Cavs wouldn't have come back from down 3-1. My response to that is like, if you insert Draymond or Andrew Bogut into their respective games, all you're doing is introducing an entirely new set of circumstances, right? And again, God forbid that this would happen, because I would never wish injury on anybody. But let's say Draymond checks into that game and smokes his knee immediately, or has a J.R. Smith moment at the end of the game. What then? Draymond played and they still lost. So I totally understand in spirit what people are saying when they fucking do that stuff, but I hate it and it's annoying, and I'm sorry for the rant. I can't believe Darvin Ham was like 3 inches away from being the coach of this team. How insane is that to think about? The Jordan Nwora piece is cool, but I kind of enjoyed more when Jordan was like a mystery, like when he was a rookie and it was like him and Sam Merrill, and it was like, ooh, what do we got with these? Like, what's going on with these guys? Can they get some minutes? Which is always so funny to me when a championship team and their fans always want the rookies to play. They always want the 30th and the 60th pick to play in these games. Like it matters. You have literally the best 8 or 9 players assembled on the planet, and you're like, what does this 25-year-old out of Utah State look like? Like, what's that? What does this 21-year-old from Louisville look like? Yeah, I know Giannis is good, but like, what's his deal? You know what I mean? It's just funny. Because like, what has that experience really been? He can score sometimes, marginally efficiently, I guess, right? Like, I don't know. I miss Mamadi Diakite. I know you're there with me, Bucks fans. But I tell you what, as soon as he dyed his hair back, I was like it. I didn't realize how much charm was in the blonde hair. Still love him though. Awesome basketball player. Dante DiVincenzo. Miss him more than anybody in the world. We talked about the Bogdanovic thing. He was supposed to be a king a while ago. Didn't that trade? Wasn't he almost a king? I'm going to go 45 wins. No. Ooh, pump fake. I pump faked. I was going to end the video there. I'm going to go NBA champions. Book it.